Hey, so greetings. I wanted to check in. I'm here in the office and back to reality, back to my life here, where I earn revenue, which I can then save and spend later on vacation. But I wanted to check in and talk about a certain thing that I've experienced since being back here in the U.S., and that is the contrast in culture. Um, and I don't know if culture is the right word, but it's just sort of it's my experience that I've had with, let's say, the last 100 people I've interfaced with. So I go to the bank and I go to the I don't know, and by going to the bank and these other places, gas station and so on, I'm really sort of not necessarily talking about the people that are in customer service, the employees that work at these facilities, but just interactions with like people on the sidewalk. As I'm walking up to the ATM, the person there, um, driving my car, a guy walks in front of me, kind of thing, and I would say that at least 51% of the people that I've been interfacing with, and because, you can use the word most of or more or a lot or whatever, but let's just say for the sake of argument, more than half of the people that I've been interfacing with, they seem angry. They seem like they're ready for a fight, like they're looking for an opportunity to bully me, like they're wanting to um, prove, like stick their chest out or something, and prove that they are more viable than I am, that they're more valuable than I. And again, a lot of these labels that I'm putting on this, you might think, well, Mike, that's your shit, dude. This is not. And trust me, part of the reason I'm doing this video is to sort of walk through this process and say it out loud, or, even write it down like when I would journal and be like, okay, is it just me? Like, is 100% of this me? Or am I experiencing something? Am I seeing something now that has always been there, but I'm only seeing it now for some reason? Because I've gone to another area of the world for 1 month, and from that, I now come back and I have a new set of glasses, which is a really cool book. If you've ever heard of the title New Pair of Glasses by this guy, Chuck Chamberlain, who I have a lot of respect for, who was also part of a cool club that I belong to that's allowed me to have an amazing life. Anyway, new pair of glasses. Squirrel, shiny red ball. So that's something that I've noticed. I put a post on Facebook, and a few people have said, kind of acknowledged it. A couple of people have also shared that their disappointment and their visibility in that, the surroundings of people, and the imperfections possibly in government and that sort of thing that they see living here, that they didn't need to go elsewhere to come back to be able to see. And that's a skill that is kind of cool. But it's funny, when I first started working at the University of San Diego about 11 years ago, I work in IT, and our technology here was adequate. It was absolutely possible for us to serve the basic needs of our students, faculty, staff. And then within the next 2 years of working here, we eclipsed where we were 2 years prior, with IT infrastructure and that sort of thing. And now we're definitely at the point where the IT infrastructure is the utility that is as unthought of as the standard power. So I was just looking at like an outlet on the wall. And certainly here, you don't think about that. You're like, and if the power went out, like if the lights went out, that would be, what the hell is going on? Like, it's the expectation that there is 100% uptime. There's the expectation that when I pick up the phone on my desk that there's a dial tone. There's not the expectation necessarily that I look down on my cell phone, oh, I don't have coverage. But the dial tone, the expectation there is 100% uptime. The 120 volts in the wall, or 220 when I'm in, another country, the expectation is that it's there by me. There's many people in other countries that are like, oh yeah, we're having a brownout. We're having a blackout. I mean, it'll come back eventually, suck it up. And I'm like, what? But the point is that since being here, one of the things that I got into sort of a rut of is working here at USD, and it's like no matter what we did, in my mind, it's like it's not good enough. We got to do better. But we don't just need 99.59 of uptime, 99.999% uptime, which is, I believe, what is that? 8 hours an entire year. So, only 8 hours over the course of 365.25 days are you offline. And that rarely happens in 8-hour chunks. So if you're doing 5 nines, that's pretty awesome in the IT world. That's how we refer to it, 5 nines of reliability. but it's not good enough. I want 100% uptime. And then I don't want just 100% uptime. I want 105% uptime, or whatever, right? And the point to this story is that it was only until I went to see other universities, where I went to conventions or conferences and I heard of other organizations, specifically universities, and what they were doing, where I was able to come back and be like, wow, we're like doing really awesome stuff, So it's the compare and contrast. And, there's a lot to be said for judgment, because then it's like, well, wait, but I need to judge myself too. Like, where am I on sort of the level of awesome sauce, compared to my peers maybe. So that was helpful. And the nice thing is that, not every single person in my organization, not all the guys that are part of my team, for example, guys and gals, part of my team, would go to these conferences. And so they wouldn't see the outside world, if you will. They wouldn't get another view. So I was able to bring that to people and bring that back to my staff and say, hey, you know what, just so you know, like if you've only worked here like a year or 2 years or whatever, like me, and, you've only seen like incremental increase, realize that our incremental increase eclipses the majority of the other universities out there that are our size, that provide our service, that are private and generally a liberal arts college, but we have a nursing school and an engineering school now. Whereas before we just had an engineering department underneath the School of Business. But we've evolved in all of these areas, and again, to go elsewhere is helpful for me to be able to come back and see my normal surroundings. So I just wanted to share that as a check-in today, and I also wanted to give you the opportunity to see how much reflection I have on my balding head from the fluorescent lights in my office. Because, what better thing for me to show you? No, hopefully the actual content of this video was a little bit more valuable. I had a guy post on my wall, or it was a comment to YouTube, your hairline is something about my hairline is messed up, blah, 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 blah. Like, okay, dude, well, obviously anything I said was irrelevant, so delete, come on. Don't bother watching my videos, obviously. I didn't respond to his comment. I just deleted him. I'm like, look, dude, you don't want to be part of my community. Great. Okay. But I don't want your comments to be part of my community either. Because, the nice thing about only having like 104 subscribers at this point is that you're all my friends. Like, I actually all know all of you, and I respect you. And I hope that I'm adding value via these videos. It's helping me. So anyway, that's my check-in and greetings for another one from 2017. Hope you're living the dream, because if you're not, you're doing it wrong. Ciao.